this is the prompt that I have used. It's a simple long paragraph. If I just run this, let's see what the result that we get from it. Now let's see the result. This is my AI responses. And if I scroll down, you see all these unnecessary informations, right? This is what it's returning for me. Although I do see the JSON format. Now let's see using the few techniques that I have, how we can get the accurate results. Now the run has been completed. Let's see the output. See? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing good. Now, in our previous session, we talked about how we can give brain to our bot. Now, we all know, right? The brain is only as good as its instructions. So, instruction is the key for unlocking agentic AI. Now, in today, we are going to dive into prompt engineering for RPA, which is the how to give proper instructions to our bots. I'm going to share a couple of techniques using which I have received almost 100% accurate JSON data from my messy documents. Now, this session is focused on providing you those kind of instructions so that, or a technique so that you can also get benefited out of it. Now, if you are a person whose bot is running or returning a chatty or incorrect AI responses, maybe this is the video for you. All right. So let's not waste further more time and let's dive into understanding the prompts or how to construct the prompts. Now, to begin with, the structure of prompt, I usually go as a XML tagging method. There are two things are there. One is the XML tagging method. Another one is the positive framing. These are the two main techniques that I use to get a most accurate JSON data from AI. So the biggest mistake a developer makes is that writing the prompt like a long paragraph. Just to give you an example, see, this is the prompt that I have used. It's a simple long paragraph. Hey bot, I have this text from PDF. Let me just zoom in a bit. I always forget it. I'm so sorry. Okay. See, I have written this whole paragraph. Hey bot, I have this text from PDF I scanned, and I need you to look through it and find the invoices for me. Also, if you see a date that looks like when it was a bill date, please grab that too. There might be other dates like ship dates, but I don't want those, just the bill dates. Please give me the JSON format so I can put it in my UiPath code. If you cannot find these numbers, just say you cannot find it. Don't add any extra talking, just the data, please. And then here is my PDF text data. All right, so I'll just pass the PDF data to this. What's happening? My laptop got stuck. Yep, done. Now, if I just run this, let's see what the result that we get from it. Now, let's see the result. This is my AI responses. And if I scroll down, you see all these unnecessary informations, right? This is what it's returning for me. Although I do see the JSON format, but why we need all these things? You see, these are all. So remember when I say this, that everything that we get from AI or we provide to AI is token consumption. Means token is nothing but in terms of AI universe, it's a currency, right? So when you deal with AI, you're not only going to have to keep it in mind that you need to get the output, but also you need to think about the concept of token consumption. The less token consumption with accurate data is what considered as a best prompt, right? Now, with the steps that I'm going to show you, we are going to get an accurate results from the AI. Now, to do that, the best practices is using XML style coding. right? It helps the model like GBT or cloud isolate these instructions from the data. Well, basically, it helps the model to understand the data, whatever the instructions that we are giving in a clear manner. Now, basically, on a fundamental level, there are three major that I use. One is the role, or three to four. One is the role, another one is the instruction, another one is the context, and the last one is the output format. These are the main four tags that I use, but there are a lot more are there. I'll explain at the end of it. I have the Excel prepared. I'll share it with you. Now these major four tags helps basically for us to have the AI which gets the data what we want, and it avoids AI getting confused with the PDF that we are going to send it to it. Now to achieve it, we all have the PDF data over here and the prompt. Now the prompt we need to assign in four different sections: role, context, or role, instructions, context, output format. Okay, now as you can see, I just copied and pasted the entire prompt here. Um, the reason why I did it instead of not writing here is that, as you can see, it's almost 22 lines are there, and I didn't want to take much of your time. So instead of typing everything, let's cover what I have written over here. So the first part is the role. Okay, these are the all these instructions are fundamental. First is role. Basically, you're explaining what exactly, giving a name to your agent or a AI. So that is basically a role. And then instructions provide a set of rules and regulations to it. Meaning, here what I have done in the role, you are an expert data extraction agent specializing in finance and logistic audit. And then instructions I gave it as extract the invoice number and invoice date from provided text. Now, these are the rules that I'm giving. If multiple dates exist in the document, basically exist, choose the one label, the invoice date or a billing date. If no invoice is found, then return not found. Return the data in a strict valid JSON format. This is my instructions. If you notice, what I mentioned earlier, four main fundamentals, which is role, instruction, context, and output format. But you notice that I gave some examples. I'll talk about it, why I gave this in the when I go to that particular point. But just remember, there is certain set of examples that I have provided, which is again, XML formatting. Now comes the context. Now in the context, I gave a my PDF data. So basically, context is nothing but the results that you provide to it, like the output results, or sorry, the input results or input data. And then comes the output formatting. As name indicates, you provide your formats and everything. If you have a format, you can provide it with the data type and everything. Basically, it returns just mentioning that what you want from your model. That here I'm mentioning return only a JSON object with the key, invoice number, and invoice date. Do not include any conversational text or markdown code blocked like JSON. So if you remember, in just before this, we ran a bot with the paragraph, and we could see that it was resulting a result wherein it has this JSON format, right? So that is what I'm trying to say, that ignore that concept. All right. Now, this is the entire block. Now, this is called the tagging or an XML tagging. Okay. The next concept we are going to talk about is the positive framing. Well, the models actually performs worse when you tell them what not to do. It's just like the babies. As they grow, when you tell them that do not do this, do not do that, they'll do that itself. So instead of saying that to the model, do not include the dates, um, or do not include the uh, total amounts and everything. Instead, you just say that if you're only trying to fetch the information of invoice number, just say only include invoice number. This is called the positive framing. So, in one more concept with that particular topic is Um, if you have a tricky document and even if you tried with the positive framing, it may not only work on that. You have to provide some additional examples. The way that you're seeing right now here, I have given some examples, right? So if you give these kind of an example, then your informations results are more accurate. Now, to give an example for the positive framing, I mentioned about the in the instruction as well. I didn't mention about do not include, or anything as such. I just, if you read through it, all of these lines are positive framing, right? So you have to be in everything that you write, make sure it's in a positive framing and not it's not in kind of say, do not do that, do not do this. All right. So these are few things that you need to be aware about. Now let's test it out and see how the results it generates this particular prompt. Now the run has been completed. Let's see the output. See, imagine the result of that you have received now, and imagine the result that you have received earlier. So this is the reason, the technique that I mentioned about XML tagging, about positive theming comes very handy when you deal with the AI. All right. So before I end this concept, I just want to give you a pro tip. Apart from the four fundamental taggings that I've talked about, there are more taggings are there. So this is the fundamental taggings, the role, instruction, context, and output, which I refer to. Role defines a persona, right? Basically, what it is exactly. Define a role. And then instructions, specific task the AI must perform. Source data, context is nothing but source data. Output format as a defined structure. Now, precision control, which is basically the constraints, hard boundary, like do not include the explanations or something like this. This is a constraint. So, in case on a worst scenario, you have to provide informations like do not do that, do not do this. Remember, I mentioned about positive framing. If you cannot go with the positive framing, you have to provide that kind of a boundary, then use that in the constraint. Okay. Next comes the schema. Schema and output format. Some people may have a questions. So the output format is like you provide a small formatting that this is what you want, whether you want it in a JSON format, XML format, or a CSV format. Mention that. Schema is that, for example, you want a JSON format of type, just this. Each field should have this kind of a data type information. That are the difference. Examples, few shots of example, input example is if you give, that would be a great. And terminology, if you have like some company kind of a terminology, right? So for instance, the information technology is kind of an acronym, right? These kind of a terminology, if you can define to it from the PDF that you're getting, that is also great. And then reasoning. So force the AI to think step by step before giving the answer. So if you want to have this option, priority, tell the AI which field must be important if the data conflicts. And then rule, logics or logic rules. If then statement, if the AI to follow internally. And then fall through instructions when data is missing or returns null value. Verification commands the AI to double check its math or logic. Safeguard prevents sensitive data leakage or unethical responses. Error handling, custom error codes of the bot to pass back to UiPath. Uncertainty threshold tells AI to flag if less than 90% confident. Audit trail, brief summary of why the AI made a specific reason. And then metadata, include a versioning or a bot ID info for log. So these are all the tag categories, tag purposes. Okay. A simple example I drafted over here just to give you an idea. we talked about all these things, right? So the instructions and role, I will not go through this again, but terminology is what I want. I like try to give you an idea. So here is what I mentioned: terminology, IT, information technology. If there is any document if the PDF contains something called IT or a standard, what exactly it means. And then schema. If you see invoice number as a string, tracking number, string, confidence, etc. So I gave the data type information. And then input, I just provided an input examples for this context. This is the input data. Fall through. If any data, any fields are missing, then use this command. So in case in here, we can modify this prompt here, right? This prompt by using a fall through command or a tag. Let's go back to the Excel. Verification, ensure the tracking ID is exactly, I mean, if you have any kind of a verification, and then return the only JSON file value, and no markdown task or no chats, something like that. So this is the example and this is the tag. Let me know if you need this document. I can share it with you. Just write a comment and I'll try to send it to you through your email ID. All right. So before we jump off again, one small another tip that I want to share is that uh, instead of just having the deserialized JSON, keep it in the try catch block. That way, what happens if it errors out, you can throw a proper customized exception. That is one more tip that I wanted to give. But I think yeah, that's all I wanted to cover for today. So to summarize everything, prompting is a new coding. By using these structured technique, you make your AI agent more reliable and production ready. Okay. So yeah, that's it for today. If you find this session useful, if you learned something out of it, please do hit that like, subscribe, and share button. And for more content like this, if you have anything related to AI, if you need any assistance, do drop it in the comment. I'll try my best to assist you with them. In our next session, we are going to learn another most important topic of agentic AI, which is how to utilize fewer tokens, right? Like I mentioned earlier, tokens is in AI term, it's a currency. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope to see you soon. Until then, stay healthy.